Hello there, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold. Nice to see you. It is May 9th, and look, we had a very, very boring day. I am not going to spend a lot of time recapping this day because virtually nothing happened. So look, we had a little bit of a down open in equities, and they just stayed down. They just stayed down. We did have commodities bounce back a little bit, but outside of that, I'm telling you, this was a nothing day, and you should have not been clicking any buttons at all today because there was just very little movement. And we've been talking about how we're getting into these seasonality patterns where you should be trading less, not more. So let's just take a look at the charts here. And you can see this is the reason why we don't really love equities is that we have seen we're just sitting in this range. Until we're out of this range, there's nothing to be said. We are range bound. So if you want to do some sort of shorter term range bound trading, fine. Sell at the highs, buy at the lows, make a little bit of money. If you are trying to catch moves and trend trade, you should not be trading at all right now. The market is not conducive to it. Here is the US 10-year bond, as you can see. Also, not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere for close to 2 months now. Until we break out of one of these two ranges, expect that there's not going to be a whole lot of movement in currencies. So we have our two major asset classes that typically push currencies around, which is equities, risk on, interest rates, bonds. They are flat. So it's no surprise that we are seeing mostly flat movement. Here is our crypto basket. Now look, we got hit last week in cryptos and earlier this week. And look, we had a little bit of a bounce today. Look at where we are in a chart. We're not really anywhere. Yes, this is the main area that cryptos have been in. We've traded a little bit below that. Look, there's nothing of any significance that tells you there's a great move coming in anywhere. So let's take a look at the performance. Look, cryptos as a whole were up today, but that was all Bitcoin Cash. Why Bitcoin Cash went up today? Who knows? There was no news. There was no reason for it. It just went up. Take a look at all the other cryptos. Bitcoin and Ethereum went nowhere. So we have these smaller cryptos that might get a little bit of a move here or there, but Bitcoin and Ethereum, where the real players are, that's just doing nothing along with the rest of the market. Here is currencies. Now, when we put it up here in this bar chart, you say, oh, the euro went down quite a bit. No, it didn't. It's just everything was such a small move that a 0.25% drop looks significant on this. This is not significant in any way, shape, or form. This is a 0.25% loss. That's the biggest move that happened today. There was no opportunity to make money. Take a look at dollar, Swiss franc, CAD, Kiwi. They virtually went nowhere. This is where the market is right now. We have a saying at Maverick, trade the market in front of you. Not the one you want it to be, not the one you think it should be. So we're at a +1. And we don't expect there to be any really change in that. But let's take a look at the calendar because, look, there is one thing that might change it, and that's tomorrow's CPI. We've talked about this as a pretty big report, so we're going to be watching the CPI. If we do get some sort of a breakout, then maybe we can then start looking at trades. But if we don't, then I think you want to do either sit out or you want to be a range-bound trader. When something goes up, you want to be looking to sell it. Now, again, we don't take it short immediately, but we say, hey, you know what? It's reached the top of its range. Let's go ahead and sell it against something that's reached the bottom of its range. Look, it's not great trading. It is what it is, but that's the market in front of us. For the rest of the day, really nothing of any importance. So look, I'm not going to waste anyone's time going through a whole bunch of stuff going nowhere and go through all the charts only to get to the end to say, hey, look, see, I told you. Things are going nowhere. You need to wait for the CPI to come out tomorrow. You need to wait and see, can we break out of certain levels? And if it doesn't happen, then I think you have to look forward to the summer and say, boy, what am I going to do this summer? Because if you try to click buttons in this market, I promise you, it will cost you your capital. Knowing when not to trade is just as important as knowing when to trade. This is one of those times I think it's important to know when not to trade. So I'm not going to go through all the currencies. We're just going to wrap this up. I expect us to be very quiet into tomorrow's CPI report. There should be no real big movements tomorrow. Why would anyone take any movement whatsoever over the next 24 hours? Everyone knows there's a major announcement coming up. There's been no movement. There's literally no movement. So wait for the CPI. If you're going to make any trades at all this week, wait for that CPI. There should be a decent trade, at least more decent than the last day or two. However, we expect there to be some volatility right on the news, so we'd like the second stage entry. Let that CPI, run up, run down, kick people out. Then you want to go ahead and take positions after that. Other than that, look, I wish I could come on here and say it's a great trading environment and there's lots of pips to be had. That would be a lie, and I would be doing you a disservice. So the best thing I can tell you is, especially for the next 18 hours, take some time off. Until the CPI comes out, just take some time off. If the CPI produces something, okay, take a look at a trade. But until then, you want to sit on your hands and enjoy some of this warmer weather. Thanks for joining me, and go enjoy that weather. Goodbye, everyone.